7 common egg mistakes are quietly harming seniors over the age of 65. Mistake number 3 might completely transform how you eat eggs for the rest of your life. Did you know that a food often called the perfect protein for aging can turn into one of the worst items on your breakfast plate if prepared improperly? It is true. Millions of older adults consume eggs daily without realizing that a single, simple error can transform this nutritional powerhouse into a severe health hazard. The most alarming detail is that almost no one realizes they are making these errors until the damage is already done. Eggs are truly among the best foods you can consume past age 60. They are loaded with high-quality protein, choline, and key nutrients that defend your brain and your eyesight at this exact phase of life when you require them most. Yet that very same nutrient density is precisely why these upcoming mistakes are so risky. Eggs that harm you look, smell, and taste perfectly normal right up until the moment they cause trouble. There is no visible warning before the harm occurs. Listen closely, because a food you have trusted your entire life can just as easily end up sending you straight to a hospital bed. Research indicates that a vast majority of seniors regularly commit at least one of these errors. Most have no clue they are doing it, because these are not unusual kitchen slips. They are daily habits that almost everyone here grew up practicing. I am Dr. Eduardo Perez, a practicing cardiologist in Los Angeles with 26 years of experience caring for patients over 65. I want to guide you through this subject just as I would with a patient sitting right across from me in my clinic. Today, we are counting down the 7 most hazardous egg mistakes made by seniors. We will rank them from the one that appears most innocent up to the single mistake that lands the most people in urgent care. Mistake number 2 is sitting inside nearly every refrigerator across America at this very moment. Before we dive in, here is a quick question for you. How do you typically cook your eggs? Scrambled, hard-boiled, or over easy? Share your preference in the comment section below. Now let us begin, keeping in mind that we are counting down, so the most unexpected mistake comes first. Number 7, skipping the yolk. If you've spent decades throwing out your yolks to eat only the whites, you are certainly not the only one. However, you may actually be stripping away the main reasons eggs are so beneficial to begin with. This practice dates back several decades to old guidance advising people to trim cholesterol wherever possible. Yet the yolk is where nearly all the true nutritional value resides. It contains choline, which your brain needs to maintain memory and sharp focus. It also provides lutein and zeaxanthin, nutrients linked directly to protecting eye health and reducing the risk of age-related vision degradation. Furthermore, the yolk is one of the rare natural sources of vitamin D, an essential nutrient your body struggles to produce from sunshine as you age. Here is the vital fact that many people overlook. Previous concerns about dietary cholesterol significantly raising blood cholesterol levels have been largely reevaluated. This scientific shift is now firmly established. In fact, the official 2015-2020 dietary guidelines for Americans removed the long-standing restriction on dietary cholesterol altogether. Unless your primary physician has explicitly instructed you to avoid egg yolks due to a specific condition, whole eggs supply vastly superior nutrition compared to egg whites by themselves. This is particularly crucial at your stage of life when nutrient absorption becomes less efficient. Your brain function and vision are 2 of the earliest areas to quietly decline as years pass. Keeping the yolk on your breakfast plate helps safeguard both, allowing you to remain sharp enough to enjoy your grandchildren's faces and balanced enough to stay active right alongside them. Number 6. Drowning your eggs in butter, oil, or cheese. This habit never feels dangerous. It simply feels like a comforting morning meal. Yet, it is one of the quickest ways to transform a heart-healthy dish into a serious threat to your cardiovascular system. A simple meal of 2 eggs on its own provides a lean, protein-packed start to your morning. But once you toss in a large pat of butter, a heavy handful of shredded cheese, and extra oil in the frying pan, that exact same plate can pack far more saturated fat than an older adult should ever consume in a single sitting. Major cardiovascular guidelines advise limiting saturated fat to a tiny fraction of your overall daily calories, and a cheese-stuffed, butter-cooked omelet can consume a massive portion of that limit before lunch even arrives. Nothing about it tastes overly heavy while you eat it, which is precisely why it gets overlooked so easily. What makes this mistake particularly dangerous is its cumulative effect. A single rich weekend breakfast will not ruin your health, but consuming eggs prepared this way every single day can steadily drive up cholesterol and internal inflammation, two factors directly tied to elevated risks of heart attack and stroke. This concern is even greater if you are currently managing high blood pressure, as a heavy intake of saturated fat actively undermines the blood pressure readings your physician tracks during checkups. Fixing this does not mean sacrificing flavor. Prepare your eggs using a quality non-stick skillet coated lightly with olive oil or simple cooking spray. If you love cheese, opt for a smaller portion of an intensely flavored style, such as sharp cheddar or crumbled feta, so a minimal amount delivers maximum taste. Rather than piling on extra cheese, add fresh vegetables instead. Toss in spinach, diced tomatoes, or bell peppers to expand the meal's volume while adding genuine nutritional value without extra saturated fat. Your heart is not asking you to quit eggs. It just needs you to refrain from submerging them in heavy fats, ensuring you keep the physical stamina required to garden, take daily walks, and maintain your valued independence. Number 5. Leaving cooked eggs out for too long, particularly during gatherings. This error usually occurs precisely when food safety is the furthest thing from your mind, such as a busy family holiday brunch surrounded by grandchildren, a delicious spread, and wonderful conversation. Any cooked egg dish, whether it is a quiche, egg salad, or a baked frittata left sitting on a countertop, must never sit at room temperature for more than roughly 2 hours, or just 1 hour if the ambient room temperature is warm. Past that time frame, harmful bacteria can explode to dangerous levels, even within dishes that were thoroughly cooked initially. This detail is crucial for older adults because stomach acid, which serves as one of your primary internal defenses against foodborne bacteria, frequently drops with age or due to specific prescription drugs. If you are hosting a meal, keep hot egg items heated above 140 degrees Fahrenheit using chafing pans or a slow cooker. And keep cold items like egg salad resting inside a larger bowl packed with ice. As soon as the event concludes, store leftovers immediately in shallow containers inside the refrigerator and consume them within 3 to 4 days. Whenever you feel uncertain about freshness, throw the food away. No one wants a wonderful family memory ruined by an emergency medical visit. A small amount of preparation at your serving table guarantees more quality time sharing laughs with family, rather than departing early due to severe food poisoning. Number 4. Cross-contaminating without even realizing it. Consider a scenario that unfolds in home kitchens every single day. You crack a couple of fresh eggs for a morning omelet, swiftly wipe your fingers on a nearby dish towel, and then handle bread for toast. Pick up your daily pill organizer, or briefly rinse your mixing bowl with cold water before cutting fresh fruit inside it. In every single one of those moments, you might have just transferred live bacteria directly onto items you are about to touch or consume. This mistake leaves behind no odor, no visible marks, and zero physical signs to warn you. Even eggs that look spotless on the outside can harbor bacteria on their eggshells, and those germs readily transfer to surfaces that are not properly sanitized, including the very towel you use to wipe your hands. Another aspect of this issue that is frequently missed involves cutting boards. Many home cooks crack raw eggs over a cutting board and then, minutes later, slice fruit or bread on that same surface without washing it first. While it feels quick and convenient, it stands as one of the top sources of cross-contamination in home cooking. This occurs primarily because kitchen routines become second nature over time, not out of carelessness, but simply because people have followed identical habits for decades. The fix requires only a few moments of your time. Wash your hands thoroughly using warm water and soap right after touching eggs, before you handle any other item. If feasible, reserve a dedicated bowl or cutting board exclusively for raw egg prep. Always scrub your counters, kitchen utensils, and any surfaces that touch raw eggs with hot, soapy water. Doing this safeguards more than just your own health. It protects everyone dining at your table, particularly young grandchildren whose immune systems are still building strength. Before we move forward, if you are finding this information helpful, please take a quick second to tap the like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Number 3. Ignoring the expiration date. I can already guess what some viewers are thinking. I have eaten eggs past the printed carton date for decades and never once felt sick. For many individuals, that statement is completely true most of the time. However, here is precisely why this oversight requires far greater caution as time goes on. As we age, our natural immune defenses become less robust, leaving us with a much narrower margin for error. That stamped date on the carton is far more than an arbitrary guideline. It marks the time frame where an egg's built-in natural defenses start to break down, enabling bacteria to reproduce far more rapidly, even within an egg that looks, smells, and tastes perfectly fine. In a younger, healthier individual, consuming an aged egg might only cause a mild day of stomach upset. Yet at this phase of life, particularly if you are navigating chronic conditions or taking daily prescription drugs, a case of food poisoning can escalate into a major health issue rapidly. As Dr. Eduardo Perez, after decades spent treating senior patients, I have observed that many hospital visits start with something that appeared entirely harmless just 24 hours earlier. This is precisely why checking carton dates is such an effortless, protective routine. Dehydration poses a major risk during foodborne illnesses, especially since many seniors already experience a reduced sense of thirst. Here's an intriguing fact. Medical professionals note that one of the most reliable tests for egg freshness has nothing to do with the printed carton date at all. If you ever feel doubtful, perform the simple float test. Place your egg inside a bowl filled with water. A fresh egg will sink quickly and rest flat on its side. An older egg will tilt upright or float to the top because the internal air pocket expands as time passes. Another simple routine you can establish in your kitchen is basic rotation. Whenever you purchase a fresh carton of eggs, place it behind any existing carton in your fridge so you naturally finish the oldest eggs first. It is a tiny adjustment, yet it eliminates all guesswork and keeps you confidently in charge of your food safety. Number 2. Undercooking your eggs. This specific mistake has grown increasingly widespread in recent years, largely driven by food trends on social media. Soft, runny yolks and loosely set whites look visually stunning in short videos. However, what appears appetizing on a digital screen is not always the safest option for your breakfast plate, particularly as you grow older. Both the yolk and the egg white must achieve a proper internal temperature to thoroughly destroy potentially dangerous bacteria. At that safe temperature threshold, both components will be completely firm rather than runny. Contrary to popular belief, a fully firm yolk does not indicate an overcooked egg. It signifies that it has been prepared safely. A foodborne sickness that causes brief discomfort in a young adult can turn far more severe for seniors, especially those managing diabetes or cardiovascular conditions, because immune responses naturally weaken over time. It is worth being honest here. Many of us were raised in households where runny eggs were the standard way breakfast was served, and no one gave it a second thought. That is completely understandable. However, food safety guidelines have advanced significantly as scientific knowledge has grown. Practices that felt harmless at age 30 do not provide the same safety margin in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. This is not about abandoning lifelong habits all at once. It is merely about tweaking one small cooking step to suit your body's present needs. Keep this critical detail in mind. Appearance and color are not trustworthy indicators of safety. An egg can look fully cooked externally while the center remains below a safe temperature. The fix is both easy and affordable. Utilize a basic kitchen thermometer or cook your eggs until both yolk and white are entirely set, eliminating all uncertainty. Staying safe does not mean giving up your morning eggs. A firm yolk is not a sacrifice. It is simply the smart preparation that keeps you far away from urgent care. We have now reached the absolute top mistake on our list, the one hiding right in plain sight within beloved family recipes handed down across generations. We are ready to unveil this final hazard, and immediately afterward, I will share 3 simple professional kitchen tips that make preparing eggs safer, easier, and far more enjoyable. So, be sure to stick around until the end. Number 1. Using raw eggs in uncooked recipes. Traditional holiday eggnog, authentic Caesar salad dressing, or chocolate mousse prepared just like your mother or grandmother made it. These recipes represent cherished family traditions, which is precisely why this hazard gets overlooked so frequently. Raw eggs can harbor live salmonella bacteria directly inside the egg itself, not merely on the outer shell. This means even a pristine, uncracked, properly chilled egg can present a serious health threat if it never undergoes cooking. When those living bacteria enter your system, they pass directly into your gastrointestinal tract. For an older adult, a salmonella infection is far more serious than a couple of unpleasant days. It can turn genuinely hazardous because age-related shifts in gut health and immunity make it much harder to combat pathogens effectively. What is more, several medications routinely prescribed to seniors can obscure early warning signs, allowing an infection to advance before anyone detects a problem. As Dr. Eduardo Perez, this is one of the missteps I encounter most frequently in my clinical work because it never feels like a conscious gamble. No one gathers for a festive meal, planning to take food safety risks. They are merely whipping up eggnog using the exact method passed down for years, utilizing the same mixing bowl and following the same handwritten recipe card, often drafted by a loved one who is no longer with us. That emotional connection is precisely why this mistake persists from one generation to the next, even among families who are otherwise meticulous about kitchen hygiene. This threat extends beyond explicitly raw dishes to include options like hollandaise sauce, soft meringues, and lightly baked custards. Many of these classic preparations never reach the internal temperature required to eliminate bacteria completely. Even tasting a spoonful of raw cookie dough or cake batter carries this exact same hidden danger. Fortunately, there is great news. You do not need to abandon a single one of these favorite recipes. Pasteurized eggs undergo a gentle heat treatment that kills off harmful bacteria while retaining the exact culinary properties of raw eggs. They provide the identical texture, whipping capability, and marvelous taste. You can readily purchase them as whole eggs, separate whites or yolks, and liquid egg cartons at almost any mainstream grocery store. Simply swap in pasteurized eggs whenever a recipe calls for raw or undercooked eggs. Your holiday drinks, classic dressings, and favorite desserts will taste just as nostalgic and delicious as ever, entirely free of unnecessary health risks. Now that we have covered the primary mistakes to avoid, here are 3 simple techniques professional chefs utilize to make egg preparation both safer and far easier, especially if cracking shells, peeling eggs, or monitoring freshness ever feels frustrating. Professional tip number 1, the 20-minute rule. Many people fail to realize that taking eggs directly from a cold refrigerator and dropping them into boiling water frequently causes shells to fracture due to thermal shock. Instead, allow your eggs to rest on the counter at room temperature for approximately 20 minutes prior to cooking. This quick step prevents shell cracking while promoting an evenly cooked egg with superior texture. Professional tip number 2, the vinegar method. This technique is particularly valuable if you manage arthritis or diminished hand strength. Simply pour 1 tablespoon of white vinegar into your pot of boiling water. Should an egg happen to crack while cooking, the vinegar causes the white to solidify almost instantly, sealing up the fracture and limiting potential exposure. As a fantastic bonus, eggs prepared with vinegar are significantly easier to peel. The outer shell slips off in larger sections, rather than shattering into tiny bits that stick stubbornly to the egg white. While that might sound minor, it makes a world of difference when hand dexterity is limited. Best of all, the vinegar leaves behind 0 residual flavor. Professional tip number 3, maintain a supply of pasteurized eggs at home. This ties directly back to our number 1 mistake. Once you learn to spot them, you will notice pasteurized egg cartons stocked right alongside standard eggs in most supermarkets. Storing a carton in your fridge ensures that every recipe calling for raw or lightly cooked eggs remains a safe, permanent part of your culinary tradition without introducing risk. Here is the ultimate takeaway. Eggs continue to be one of the most nutritious foods you can enjoy past the age of 60. They are designed to nourish your brain, protect your vision, support your heart, and boost your daily energy. The 7 errors we examined today should not cause you to fear eating eggs. They are simply subtle blind spots that are easy to fix once you are aware of them. This is precisely how the healthiest seniors approach their diet every day without second thoughts. You are not helpless, you are empowered with knowledge. That awareness is what enables you to remain confident and independent in your own kitchen, safely preparing the dishes and traditions you treasure. Which of these common mistakes did you make for years without realizing it? Let us know in the comment section below. We personally read every response. If you plan on implementing at least one of these adjustments starting tomorrow morning, drop a yes in the comments so we know this message helped you. If you have any questions or wish to share your own cooking tips, please feel free to leave a comment. He learned how to leach a potato, and his wife started preparing cauliflower rice. Over the subsequent months, paired with his prescribed medications and routine blood tests, his health numbers stabilized. I want to frame this carefully because many sources make promises they simply cannot deliver. His creatinine levels did not magically return to optimal range, they simply ceased rising and stayed stable. His blood pressure readings showed distinct improvement, and his nighttime bathroom visits decreased from 3 times per night down to a single trip. Yet what he expressed gratitude for most was not the lab